There's no excuse not to have a prototype for a feature idea ever again.
Every piece of work you do should be an investment. So, like, you should do less work the next time.
It's a new way of working. That's what it comes down to.
We're all figuring it out. Like, we have no idea how it works.
Kieran, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
This is going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a wide-ranging conversation. We have a killer demo that we're going to show, and we're going to basically, it's almost like a day in the life of how you operate and what you do. And I'm excited for people to dive into the future and see what that looks like. But before we get into that, your background is super interesting. Do you want to tell us how you got into doing what you do and where you started from?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my background is in music, but also software. Like, I've always wanted to create stuff since a young age. And I just learned how to code because I wanted to create things. And I learned how to make music because I love music, wanted to make music. And yeah, I've worked as a professional film composer for 10 years while also doing development. But after that, I really went into startups. But something I learned and I really enjoy now, especially with AI, is like I'm a creator at heart. Like, I really care about telling stories. And with music, you tell stories. And with software building, you tell stories. And AI can help so much with that. So, like, for me, this is a time that I get really excited. And also, I can bring things I learned from music and also bring things that I learned from building software, like being like a CTO, VP of engineering in the past in previous places, to now to how to use the AI. And I would love to share more of like what I've learned over the last 20 years or so, and then maybe 3 years using it in AI and some observations. Yeah, so would love to share that with everyone because it's pretty cool.
It's exciting to so you've done multiple startups, raised a bunch of money. You're currently CTO and co-founder at Cora. What is Cora.computer?
Yeah, so Cora is a an app you connect to Gmail, and I started this because Sonnet 3.5 launched, and I was still looking at my Gmail inbox. I was like, why the hell is there still emails in here? Why is this not a solved problem? And I like it has to be able to be solved now because Sonnet 3.5 launched. So I was like, well, let me just build it. And there was this itch, and I talked with people at Every. Every is a like they write about AI and they have apps as well, and they were like, let's do it together because they provide like great design, good taste, and support with the platform as well. So I work with Every on Cora, and what it does is like we scan your inbox, we archive 80% of emails because they're not important to respond to right now. So the 20% you actually need to look at are always in your inbox. And the other 80% we summarize in a brief twice a day. So there's like a time span where you said, okay, now I'm going to batch this. Uh, this works great. This works great for us. We've been using it for more than a year now already, and we have thousands of users now. We launched in June, and yeah, some people love it, really love it, and some people are like, yeah, but I have my own system. But the strength here is like it's a system made for humans, not for corporations or like flows, or like if you have your system, sure, do your system, but we bring a very good perspective on what we think is how you should do email.
Amazing. And so we're looking for, and a sneak peek for what's coming in the episode later. We're going to build a feature on Cora live. And so that'll be exciting. So everybody will get to see what you do day to day, and we're going to do it live. It's going to be a really cool feature. So stay tuned for that. But one of the things that you had also told me, and I thought it was such a cool story that I'd love for you to repeat it to everybody here, which is your story about Claude Code. So you were early on Claude Code.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So like the coolest, like I'm talking here with you because I'm building Cora. Like there's only one way to really understand how a tool works. It's not to like be a guru or something. No, it's to build a business. Like I'm building a business and sharing what I learn and trying to push the system. So Claude Code launched in February, and like it was good, but it was very expensive back then
By
because
the way, I can't believe it only launched in February. It feels like it's been years.
I know. It feels years ago, but it's end of February even when Sonnet 3.7 launched. It launched and it was very expensive because you had to pay by token, and it like you did a simple feature where it's like, okay, you review this, and suddenly you're like $35. I'm like, okay, this is not it. I'm a startup. I bootstrap. I didn't raise any money here. I don't want to spend $35 for like a simple review, but it was good. Um, and a few months later, they introduced bundle pricing. So if you went to the pro plan, either the $100 or the $200, you could use unlimited Claude Code, or there were some limits, but like it was practically unlimited. And this was really the time when I was like, oh, okay, let's go hard and let's see how far we can push this thing. And this was just before like Opus 4 launched, but like really when version 4 and launched, I went really hard, and like it started like becoming such a thing. Like, oh yeah, who can use the most tokens? And like you could measure how many tokens you used, so you could measure how expensive it would have been if you didn't have the subscription. And at that point, I was like averaging around $6,000 per month in tokens.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like a full-time salary
It's a
almost.
full-time salary, and I just paid $200 for that. So I shared that on Twitter, and like someone saw that and interviewed me, and was like, I'm doing a story with Dario, talking to him next week, and he asked Dario, like, I have this developer who like spends $6,000 per month, but only pays 200. How does that work? You're like, oh yeah, we're like, yeah, we should fix that. And basically the week after there were limits. So sorry everyone. There are some limits now.
Yeah, so sorry for finding the loophole. And for those that don't know, Claude Code, as the name, as it sounds like, it's desktop app. It's kind of like a terminal. If you use Claude, I mean, the name is Claude Code, and yes, it's mostly for coding, but you can use it for anything. People use it for newsletters. They create, all sorts of sub agents and everything else. So it's super cool. And we have you to thank for the limits, but it had to be done. It would have happened. It would have happened maybe a little bit later, but yeah, excited for that. So you've been posting a lot of stuff on X. And so, yes, there's the Claude Code story, but you also have this novel concept that you're calling compound engineering. And I really love the term, and it's particularly relevant for all of us who are starting to think about automating our own workflows and reinventing the way that we work. And maybe you can just explain, what is compound engineering?
Yeah, it's basically something I've been pushing for, and it's actually really, really easy with AI to do. But what it is like every piece of work you do should be an investment. So like you should do less work the next time. So for example, if you do a review of code, like you see something and you're reviewing it, you're like, okay, I can spend time on reviewing this code, or I can spend the same time on capturing how I review code. And then you can next let an AI follow those instructions to review your code. So that will then compound, because every single other time you do that same work, you don't need to do the work. You can let the AI do the work. So it's the philosophy of like spend time, invest time in systems and like flows and things that work for you. So you can have the AI or leverage the AI to do the work for you.
I love this idea. One of the things that I think about, I mean, you reference this in relation to code reviews. So if you're doing code review and you basically say the same thing every time, or you kind of find the same issue in people's code, maybe there's a way to automate it so that issue gets found automatically, so you don't have to be the one, pointing it out. And I think this also relates to so many other things. As you were saying it, my mind went to these business review meetings that we have once a month. And it turns out that I tend to bring up similar sorts of issues. They're often things like, hey, what would the customer think in such a situation? And is that what they would want? Right. And so it would be really nice if, now I'm thinking about how can I do that myself, do compound engineering so that this feedback can automatically be included in all future presentations at our company. And so what else comes to mind? Like, what's another example of compound engineering?
what is really important is, so first of all, yeah, you can apply this to everything, really. Like, I'm focused on engineering now because that's like I'm building software. So for me, it's like, let's focus there. But the very important part in compounding engineering is that you learn something. Like, something is done, like either it writes an email or does a presentation draft for you. Like, there is some outcome, and you as a human have taste, or you have an opinion, or there is something that you want to say or correct. It's very easy to just do it, like you go into Word and like make the changes. But like, the beautiful thing is, if you say to AI, hey, can you look at what I said here, and can you codify these things somehow? Like, what can you see from my take and my changes, and can you then make sure that it goes back so that it doesn't do it next time? So think about it, like, use AI to look at changes, use AI to look at like your style and say, hey, like, what do I like actually, or like, how does it work? So like, that's the powerful move, where you codify like learnings into back into the system you use. So I think that's the most important loop there.
Oh, I love that. So basically, what you're saying is we all can be a little bit lazy now, do the work, and then ask AI to identify the patterns and things, and for it to look at the trends and then suggest that, hey, these are the sorts of things that you do every time, or this is what you say every time, or this is how you fix the code every time. And here's a rule, just apply it to your prompt so that it's always there going forward.
Yeah, we had a user in Cora that used this, and he said to our assistant, so we have an assistant that has access to all your email. He asked the assistant, hey, I want to help people get answers from me more quickly. So can you analyze all my emails and see which emails I respond to quickly and which I don't, and then give me like kind of pointers that I can put on my website to say, make sure your email is like this, because I will respond quickly, and give help to the people to actually respond. So I think that's a fun, creative, compounding thing there as well, where you use the AI to prevent you not responding because of an email missing information or being too long, or like whatever is your personality there. Yeah.
I love that as an idea. Okay, so this idea of compound engineering, and I think it's something that we all need to think about. And I just like from a philosophical perspective, the idea that every bit of work is investment. I often used to think about it, but in another way where, okay, if I spend a lot of hours doing something, yes, I'm doing the work, but it's also an investment in improving my skill. But this is another level of this, which is if I'm doing the work, I'm investing in this work being done faster in the future, and that's just like an incredible take. And I would invite everybody here to almost do, all listeners, do an exercise by yourself with your team and ask the question: how is the thing that we're doing right now going to contribute to it being done better in the future or faster in the future? And that's a excellent question to ask.
It's not easy also, like it feels like, I really have to do this, and it is also a different skill. Like, if you are really good at writing, or you're really good at doing multitasking and things, like, it's easy to get stuck in that thing you're good at. And you have to realize you have to get out of that and step out of that, and there is friction there, because it will feel painful at first, but it is an investment, so it should like give results later. Just be aware of that as well.
And what I like about it, for those thinking, okay, well, how is this different than just automating things? I would say it's very different, because automating things, and typically the way that people think about it is, I did something once, twice, three times, it's time to automate it, right? So that's kind of like the mental flow. This is more about, how do I usually respond to messages? What are the patterns? And this is stuff that's actually not easy to do. And the reason why this is more important than ever is because AI can help make it easier than it's ever been, because it can identify trends and patterns, and so you don't have to write some super duper complex, workflow or code to enable something. You can just speak it in natural language. And so there's a big difference between just automate things and do compound engineering.
Absolutely. Yeah. The thing is, like, I will show you things like how I do things, but you should make your own. Like if you copy my workflow, it won't work for you because you have different needs, you have different qualities. So you should make it your own. Be inspired by what I show, but like you should create your own and start simple. Like it took me months to get to this point, and I'm learning every day. So like you should start somewhere and see like what is that one thing that I can capture.
Love it. And so, one other thing, Kieran, that you were talking about was this idea of who AI might impact the most. And so, from your point of view, it's different for different levels in the organization, like traditional hierarchy levels. And I'd love for you to tell everyone your point of view there, and why is it different? How is it different?
Of course you hear like with cursor and like those things like, oh, it's going to take up over coding, and you're an IC and you're like, oh, okay, so coding is easier. But longer term, like we're now in a realm where it's agentic. So Claude Code is agentic, and ChatGPT and Claude themselves are getting more agentic. What that means is like you can say, hey, can you look through my emails, find a spot in my calendar, and then like it will do things. And it's very different than writing code or writing an email. And you need different skills to like utilize or leverage the skills of the AI than you did before. Like if you say, can you write me a function that does XYZ? Sure, it will do it. But if you really want to get more out of it in like a compounding engineering way, where you say first, look for best practices, look for like what patterns we have in the source code, look for what critics say, look for like different patterns in different languages, like what are the framework options? Can you do some mockups? Can you like look through feature requests and do all of that? Like that is not coding, but it is work you have to do as an engineer. And one level above that is like, okay, then all these things happen, but you have five things happening at the same time. Suddenly you need to manage five agents that do all of this research, and you need to see what's going on, and you need to not micromanage, because you cannot like micromanage five people, let alone five agents that work way faster than humans. So the skills that I found that are very valuable is like my VP of engineering skills. It's like the skills in having strong opinions, or like tech lead skills. That's also a good one, where you have a strong opinion, you know exactly what you want, or like what the direction is. And so I think a CEO has naturally already skills that are easier to use managing multiple agents. Like you don't need to do multiple agents, but clearly there is value in having five agents work on five different features. And if you can do that, like you'll go five times as fast if you're as good as doing it with one. So suddenly you need to zoom out, and you cannot go into the details, and you need to let agents run for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. That's my sweet spot right now to do certain tasks. And then I check in and say, hey, what's the status, or like, and then like codify and give feedback, and then hand it off and say, go do your thing again. So I think everyone that is an IC, like think outside the box. Think like, what would I learn if I became like a manager? Like what skills can I lean into? Because you'll might miss out on certain things, or you might be skeptical. But it's good to understand that, as because everyone is different, and there are different skills for for these different things. But like I think CEOs, CTOs, founders, those are the perfect people to really go hard and experiment with AI in this way.
It's so true. So it does feel that for the manager type, they have been practicing all the skills of working with agents this whole time. And so what's exciting is for everybody in the organization, what's happening is everybody's almost moving up the stack. And so we all end up being not just managers of teams, but going forward, each person becomes a manager of an entire organization, right? Where teams of agents will eventually help in all the different tasks. So it's definitely a new way of working. We're not quite at the place where these agents truly have feelings and so on and so forth, but, who knows where things might go.
They have attitude.
They do have attitude. Sometimes they're embarrassed to show you the wrong results, so they'll make up some results, but, things that could happen for humans as well. So, yeah, definitely lots of parallels there. It's a different type of it's a new way of working. That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, and we're all figuring it out. Like we have no idea how it works, but I can share that it feels very close to those skills. And yeah, like it's good to understand that if you are a PM, probably like it's a good time to go hard on learning this. Even though if you're not technical, like why not? Because you have a lot of skills that you need to do this. Yeah.
Kieran, one of the interesting things is, and a lot of people are talking about this, and I've certainly been thinking about it as well, that it really feels now I'm gonna flip it for you because it's the manager class, they already know how to do this stuff, and ICs, they need to transform the way they work, and that's true. But there's also the equivalent of, if you are a leader in an organization, you have to make time. And the hard thing is, how do you make time to learn this new way of working? And even for me, I feel like I like going back into IC mode is actually very empowering. And I really want to do it because it really feels that we are relearning everything, and so it's almost like a distraction to be a manager of people to a large extent because you have all of this stuff that you need to do, and but you need to go back, and it's like go back to school again and relearn and do class projects and all this stuff. And as much as I think podcasts and shows like this new way really help, but ultimately like you have to experiment for you to really understand this stuff. Watching a video is not enough. So yeah, definitely a different time.
Every day you should do something. Yeah.
So speaking of showing people how to do things though, and so we're going to jump to the demo portion. And just for everybody, Kieran's going to show some really cool stuff. Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying the episode. One of the common things that we hear is, hey, you all talk about all these different tools, you walk through these demos. Sometimes it's hard for me to follow along. We decided to do recently was take all the things that we talk about, put them in a weekly newsletter. We literally list all the tools, we link to them, and any demo that we walk through, we break it down step by step, put it in this newsletter so it's super easy for you to follow along. And the other nice thing is that if there's someone on your team that you think could benefit, they're working on that subject area, they could use a little bit of AI injection into their workflow, send them the newsletter, send them that particular episode. We make it super easy to do that. It's free to sign up. All you have to do is go to thisnewway.com, enter your email address, and you'll get this weekly email from us. Hope you enjoy it. With that said, let's go back to the episode. Kieran, what are we going to see today?
Yeah, this is Cora. This is the sandbox local environment. This is the brief. So this is something you review your information.
So Cora,
Yeah.
just as we're looking at it, so Cora is basically this product that you're building,
hmm
and it categorizes your emails, archives stuff you don't need to see, and it also creates replies, right? So it knows
Yeah.
how you respond to things, and literally like I guess an EA agent that checks your email.
Yeah, it's like having like a chief of staff for cheap, not $150,000 per year. Yeah, and the view you see now on the screen, you see in the middle like a brief with important information. So this is categorized like, hey, this is important. You should do these. This is like bogus information. But you can see it will scan newsletters and it will summarize newsletters for you. So it will be very easy. You just scroll through, read whatever you want to read. On the right side, there's an assistant and it can do agentic search. And it's funny how bad search in Gmail is. You would think Gemini would have solved it, but like this just works way better. You can say, hey, what were all the expenses in the last week for my trip to New York? Can you just update them all, add them and send it to this email so I can get reimbursed? Like stuff like that is really handy. But for the feature, I want to work on this. I was thinking there's this thing, invite friends to Cora, and like it shows now, like, hey, Kieran invite you to join Cora and free yourself from email. It's like a postcard you can send to your friends, and there is a copy button here with a unique URL. And I was thinking it would be fun to improve this a little bit because we know who your friends are because we're connected to your email. So I was thinking maybe we can add your most emailed people here, like top 3 or top 5, and like call them out here and say, click here to send an email automatically so you don't have to manually do it. So I was thinking to do that.
Yeah, so that's super interesting. So I love this. So we know what Cora does. You have, like most tools do, have a way to invite other people, but you have this extra advantage that you already are connected to their email, so you know who they email and who their friends are. So what you're saying is, what if we just suggested those people? I think it would drive a lot more people to use this feature. So I think it's a brilliant, brilliant idea.
Yeah, it's more proactive and like we can make it as complicated as we want, but let's just say the people you email mostly or something like that.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay, this is how it works. So first of all, we're in planning phase. Like what is very important is that we make a good plan because if you don't have a good plan, it will be crap either way. So what I do normally is since this is a UI, I want to make mockups. I use this app called Monologue. It's also made by Every by Naveen, and it's speech to text. It's very good for Claude Code as well. It reads the context. So I'll speak some things out. I'm in Claude now because why not? I'm just going to see if we can describe this feature and see if we can get a mockup. Okay, I want you to create a mockup that extends this feature that you can see here. This is an invite friends to Cora window. What I want to do is I want to have 5 most emailed friends with their own unique URL. So I can click a button and email them one by one. So it suggests the friends I email most with. Can you create a mockup of this? So the point of this is like obviously I can vibe code and go into Claude and go into my own source code to do this, but it's harder if it's already there because suddenly it has all these technical constraints. And if we're here, I don't really care about the technical constraints. I just care about a mockup. And I just want to give feedback. Like, does it make sense? Like, this is where I think vibe coding is great. Just experiment in here or experiment in like any other tool like V0, Lovable, like whatever you want, like whatever works for you. And yeah, it's direct. You get direct feedback because then we bring this into my planning command, and then we're going to see, okay, technically, how is it going to work? What do we actually need to do?
So all you did is you pasted a screenshot, described the feature with the voice to text, version of that, and it's literally writing code to generate this mockup.
Yeah. Okay. So it created something. It's kind of what it was like. It's not the same, but like we have something now. And now my feedback is maybe this
By the way,
looks.
I love this. There's no excuse not to have a prototype for a feature idea ever again.
No, exactly. And like
Don't send me a text document. Show me a prototype.
yeah, just show me. And the beauty is you can like make it interactive as well. Like this is a simple feature with where a screenshot is good, but like something that's interactive is way better already. And there's absolutely no excuse for anyone, for designers especially as well. So I would say this is a good start. I feel the top contexts are a little bit big, but I do like the emails weekly, daily, stuff like that. So can you lean more into the personality thing and make it a little bit more compact and more minimal? So I just replied to Claude here and see if we get another iteration. Like you can do this as
So
many times. You can share this with your team and say, "Hey, anyone have any feedback?" And you just copy paste their feedback in here. Like it's nice. Yeah.
I love it. So I have to ask you. So Kieran, like this is a demo. We're showing this to everybody. It looks super cool. It's amazing to see this generating in real time. But do you actually do this? Like, is this your real day-to-day workflow? If you have a feature idea and you want to build it, do you follow this exact procedure? Or maybe for something like inviting friends, you know exactly what it might look like?
Yeah, this is what I do. Like I don't like I'm actually going to launch this feature. Like if it looks good and if it works well,
I
we're
love
going
it.
to release it. Like that's the point.
Yeah. By the way, I'm gonna add on to that, to your answer in that you might wonder, like, well, I know what it looks like, but it turns out that if you use AI, it will do a better job of surfacing details that you wouldn't have thought about,
Yeah.
right? So
AI
you
is really good in filling in the blanks. Like I might have not thought about certain things or took things for granted. Like I did not think about the emails daily or emails weekly. Like and I
exactly. I
and
hadn't
that's
thought about that
yeah.
either. Yeah.
And it resonates with me. I'm like, oh, it's kind of fun to see that I email daily with this person, right?
That's so cool because it's the things that you were not thinking about that AI then surfaces to you, which is the magical part. It's like you have this employee and they surpass expectations. They didn't build exactly only the things that you said, but they brought on new ideas that you weren't even thinking about. And it's amazing to see that actually play out here.
Yeah, absolutely. And the iterative process, like it's super quick because you have feedback and you can immediately speak your results. And the models are pretty good now in actually doing like longer, extensive, interactive things, even. So, yeah. But in reality, if it's simpler, I use Claude. If it's a little bit more complex, I have another project called Baby Cora, which is like a clone of Cora, but it's the code version where I can just do whatever and it can break. But it's just for prototypes. It's like a prototype version of my software. So that's where I can experiment before and vibe code to just get to specs. So let's go here. So I'm in Claude Code now, which is in the terminal, but there is a native extension now as well for VS Code or any other tool for you if you like that. I use it here, but it doesn't matter where you use it. I have commands and I have workflows here, and one is the plan command, and I'm going to get that in. So I say plan image, and I'm going to explain what I want to do. In this image, you can see that I have a share view to share with friends, and I want to pull in the top 5 most emailed friends from the database so I can send an email to them. So I kind of in high level say what I want. This can be very long. I'll just let it go. And what this does is a bunch of things. So this is step 1, is still planning. But the thing it's going to do, you'll see, is going to start sub agents. And sub agents are like specialized in a specific task, and they can go in parallel. So instead of it taking an hour, it can take way less. So you can see I have a repo research analyst. This one goes and grounds itself in the source code. So I'm in the core project here, and it's going to find the existing pages because it's, oh, there's already something. What is a user? Like learning everything about the repo. The other one is a best practices researcher, and this one just search the web, like what are best practices around this, and it can find articles, it can find documentation. What should you do? Like here is like, how do you performance index optimization for group by, because it already thought probably you need that for knowing how many times per week you email. So it's like researching best practices. And obviously this is in the model, but if you like find things that are more specific, you just like ground it more in certain things, which is like just making the results better. The framework docs researcher is like, it goes into the gems. So gems are kind of like node packages or like things that I use, and I just instructed just open the source code for every package that you think you need and just understand exactly how to do everything. And the beauty here is like sometimes you have it do stuff, but it's like, oh, but that's the old version and you have the new version. Like that stuff doesn't happen if it just looks at the version you have and it just uses whatever you have as the version, which is also very helpful to make sure that it doesn't make mistakes. And it's actually very simple.
Hey everyone, just a quick pause on today's episode to tell you about my day job. In addition to This New Way, I'm the CEO of a company called Fellow.ai, and Fellow is an AI meeting assistant. It joins all your meetings, it summarizes them, tracks the actions and the decision, and does that better than any other tool that you've seen. We've spent a ton of time making sure that the meeting notes and summaries and action items that come out of Fellow are the most accurate, the most precise. It beats any human. You have to try it. But in addition to that, what makes Fellow different is that it is the first AI note taker built from the ground up with security and privacy in mind. This means that you can use it for all your meetings, not just the customer facing ones, but also the sensitive ones, things like one-on-ones and executive team meetings and those QBRs and everything in between. It's got really good judgment. So for example, if you start a meeting and you're talking about some social stuff that you don't really want on the record that's going to get emailed to everyone afterwards, Fellow just knows. It just doesn't include those things. Or say you have something that you talked about and later on you realize, oh man, that shouldn't have been there. Makes it really easy. You can go back to the meeting, select that part, delete it, and then it's gone from the record. It connects to all of the other tools you use in the organization, whether that's Slack or Asana or HubSpot or Salesforce or Linear or Jira or Confluence, whatever it is, Fellow integrates with all those things. I think the best part is that Fellow also acts as an AI chief of staff. Because it sits on all the meetings and the conversations that you have access to, you can ask it really cool questions such as, what are the biggest opportunities in my company? What are the bottlenecks in engineering? And Fellow just pieces together information, sees trends, and it can answer those sorts of questions. It can even do things like, hey, based on all of the one-on-ones that I've had with this particular person, can you create them a performance review? And it can do things like that too. And the sky's really the limit. What I really wanted you to do is have the opportunity to try out Fellow, check it out, and we're making a special offer available to all our listeners. So just go to fellow.ai/thisnewway to try Fellow. There's a discount code in there for you if you decide to continue with it. Either way, I would love for you to try it and let me know what you think. And with that said, let's go back to the episode. So it seems like you have a workflow that you created, which is called Plan. And
Yeah.
so I assume you have a lot of prompts in there. And part of those prompts is to create sub agents that are repo research analyst, best practices researcher. And so, did you yourself also write the prompts for the sub agents, or did Claude Code come up with those prompts?
So, like the workflow plan, that is definitely mine, but I never handwrite these. I always use a prompt, like a prompt generator. Like there is one in the Claude console, the Anthropic console. Let me show it here. So this is if I start with something, I always start here, and
Hmm.
I just say I want you to classify an email whether it's important or not. So it's very simple command, and you can say generate, and it will write a good prompt. So this is always how I start. I just brain dump stuff, start here, then go in and manually change things. This is for the slash commands mostly. So you can see it's already doing way more.
Yeah,
And
it's
this
super
is
impressive.
it's very handy. So this is just like just start here. It's always better because yeah, again, use AI to do this. For the sub agents, I use the generator inside Claude Code. So there's no generator for the slash commands, but you can just do agents and then you say add new agents, and you can do a similar thing where you say I want a specialist that ask this specific question, like what is the problem we're trying to solve about if someone wants to have a feature or like something in your meeting, or like just criticize a certain aspect, or your like security or like some domain knowledge, and it will generate it for you. So these here are mainly generated like that. I think I've changed some, but like it just started with like you observing, hey, I do something over and over, maybe create an agent to do that in this flow next time. So that's kind of how I came to these.
Yeah, love it. And so it's amazing. You have a team of people that are planning your project for you in the background.
Yeah, and the beauty also, like you don't need to wait for this. That's the beauty. Like it's very good at starting something. Normally, if I do something like this, I go to another agent. So I can do another agent next to this that does other planning or review, or however you would work with like a team of people. Is like you're not going to like babysit one engineer reviewing code. You're going on to the next thing. So think of it like this. And you can see here it finished these three, and it's like writing or creating a GitHub issue now. I personally love GitHub because this is what I've I'm used to: pull requests, GitHub issues. And the beauty is also it hooks into humans writing tickets, or whoever, like another bug tracking tool writing a ticket. And suddenly you have a system that's like compatible. Like issues can come from anywhere. It could be from an agent, but it could come from a bug tracker or like a human as well.
One question I have is, so it's writing all of this code. Do you then review the code line by line? Like every line of code written for Cora, have you read each one of those lines, or do you have other agents that review it, or how do you know when to step in?
Yeah, so I don't step in normally during this. So this is research. It's not doing anything. What the output here is I get a PRD, or like an issue that describes the problem and the steps how we're going to solve it. And I review that. So if you see obvious things that are wrong, like it's good. So okay, so we have something. So overview is add analytics to invite friends to join Cora, share with display top 5 users most used frequently. Currently we have like a flow, but it's easier if you can just hit send. So I'm going to look here. So technical considerations, I kind of go over it. It says, hey, like we have encrypted fields because it's personal data, so it's kind of harder to group by. So like I'm like, oh yeah, okay, didn't think about that. So it's really nice that it called that. Like we basically cannot group by how many times per week you send the email because it's encrypted in the database. So it's like, oh, so how else could we do it? And it already figured out how to do it. And I mean, I rather say now, like my feedback would be like, that's a little bit complex for just that thingy. Like, can we do it simpler? Or like, is there another? So performance, tenanting, privacy concerns, like it says here, this is when the acceptance criteria are met. And here it actually goes into like all the steps it needs to do. So it says it needs to create these files, it needs to create a service. And this is kind of an example service, how it should look like. And for me, like this is not the code, but it's some code. And I already get a good feel here. Like, is this the right direction or is this completely wrong? I think I think this is a good direction. Yeah, so it's a service. And so let's say like I'm like, okay, I thought this was an easier feature, but that encryption thing, like, oh yeah, didn't think about it. So let me see like how that goes. Okay, I initially thought this was an easier feature, but I get it with the encryption. Is there something easier that we can do? And can you think ultra hard to see if there's an easier solution here and simplify this pitch? Also, make sure to look in the invites or refer controller because we have something similar already set up. So you can see like it didn't link it to the actual page that I had. And normally you can, like, I think it's called referral controller or something like that instead of invite. So it might be that why. But this is how I go now. And it's like, oh, okay, we're going to simplify this. And there's an agent that I have that also simplifies plans. But I think you should spend the most time in this phase. So if you do AI development, like this is the most important step, and you should maybe spend 60% of your time here. Then you should spend no time in the coding part because you just hand it off to an agent and it does it. So zero time you should spend there. And the other time you spend on reviewing and iterating and making sure like it feels good, it works. Yeah, that comes after that. So let's see how this goes. So this is it found the page, which is good. It's looking for like, is there like an easier way from it will create a unique index that it can use for this, which is good.
It's nice to see that there's still human judgment here. So you looked at the solution.
100%. Yeah. You
It's
cannot let it go and that's it. You'll
yeah.
you'll end up with crap. Like it will this is just a vibe code thing where like yeah, it's great and it might work the first time, but if you have a production app with actual users, like it doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
So
it has the plan and like it's shorter, way shorter, and it just says there's a service and this is how we will insert it in the index HTML ERB, which is what I want. This is already the controller we have. We just need to create like a referral invitation mailer because we need to email the people, and that's it. So I think this is a good plan. So let me say, can you store this plan to GitHub? So we'll get it into GitHub and it can use the GitHub CLI. And the beauty is you can share this with people. You can have other agents even on GitHub look at this, or you can do review of this plan by a specific model as well. Sometimes I feed this to codecs like GPT-5 codecs because it has a different view, and sometimes I run this command 5 times and see which one of the five I like best. Because why not? Like, until you hit your limits, there's absolutely no reason not to do that. So we have a plan, and it is always funny because it says this will take 2 hours. This will take 5 hours in total, but we'll see how
Wow.
long it will take.
Does
So
it
we have a
actually
yeah.
sometimes take 5 hours though?
No, it will never take 5 hours. This will take 5 minutes. That's the beauty always. So I think this looks good, and you should have human judgment. Like if you're a vibe coder, have no idea if this is any good, then yeah,
Don't make
then
production
ask.
apps.
Don't work on production apps. Exactly. Just have an engineer that with experience look at this, because that's really the only way today to make this work. So now let's start anew. And we have another command called work. And I just say issue 1026. So this is the most boring and easiest thing. But what it will do is it will create branch locally with a work tree. And what it does is like it will create a new separate folder. So I can have, if I want, 10 of these running at the same time. There are no conflicts. So it will just does that. So it's nicely isolated in its own work tree. It will pull in the issue from GitHub and it will start working. And when it's done, all the test pass, the linting is done. It will create a pull request on GitHub.
I love it. Like it's amazing. We went from an idea to a screenshot to a plan that was revised, and now it's actually doing the work, which I
Yeah.
agree with you is probably like the most easy, straightforward part if you agree with the plan.
Yeah, if the plan is good, this is easy. Just follow the plan, and like it's really good at like if it missed something, or it will still like not blindly follow the plan here. It will like make sure everything works. But
Yeah.
what's really cool is like this this didn't cost me a lot of energy. I'm like on a podcast. I'm talking with you, explaining philosophy on how this works while doing a feature. Like those are lots of things at the same time. And you know how hard live coding is. Well, this is not hard. And really the only energy it cost me was like thinking about what the issue was that I wanted to solve. Okay, I did that before, but after that I looked at a plan, said, I don't like the plan. Can you make it better? Basically. And it made it better. And that was really the only energy here. And we'll see if this is done, like if it works and if it's looking good and all of that. But we can iterate. Yeah, it's almost done probably.
So I love the idea. So sometimes you'll take the plan and send it to Codex, or do you send the actual output code to Codex? What is your typical
Yeah, I do
workflow?
both. So
You
like
do
it
both.
depends. So for the plan, I always think of in three levels. Like there are three kinds of plans. One is like very easy, just a bug fix, a line change, a thing. Like you can just one shot it. Like there's no need to review the plan at all. It's just like just do this thing. The second level is a little bit more extensive. I think this is level like the second level. There are multiple files. There are like new things introduced, but like it's still contained. And like if it says 5 hours, probably 5 minutes, but it's around a medium size. And yeah, like my brain can review that. So I don't really think Codex like it will give another perspective, but I don't think it will necessarily be better. I think if it's number three, where it's like big refactor, like explodes in my head to even put everything in there, like or like a large feature that will take multiple days. I think level three, I think then is really worth to like get multiple angles, get different models to look at it. And I think reviewing the plan is very good. Obviously, you review whatever comes out here as a pull request review as well, but the goal is to have the plan really pristine and really well done, because you'll lose time also if you run this and the plan is not good. Like you'll just lose time. So it's writing the test. So I think it already works, or it should work. So let's go here and see. Okay, we're here. Let's refresh and see if there's anything added here. Oh, yay. Okay. Well, it doesn't look great, but there is email. I email most, and apparently it's myself in the C data, but you can see, yeah, like, and let's see if I hit send, like, yeah, like there's not good feedback, but like this is a point where it's a very good starting point where now I can say, okay, let's make this actually look good, or like you can see it did follow the design system that we have in place. But yeah, like feedback from sent invite, we did not have that in the plan. So like fair, like we should have something in the plan. So this is where I would go in and like vibe code those things in, where it's just like, okay, it's just Claude, and I just say referral index, and I just go do my thing here. Yeah, this is where I would take it further and like iterate
Yeah.
over it. But you can see like there's a feature, and if
Yeah.
you create a pull request, the last step here is a review. If you are done with your feature, you're very happy with it, I trigger a review, and this one, from every angle you can think of, will figure out. This is very handy as well. So I have a reviewer, a key run reviewer. So I want to extract my own opinions into that sub agents. I have a DHH reviewer, which is the creator of the Ruby on Rails, and he is always cursing a lot because that's the character, and it's really funny to read these. So they're like agents battling on like best design practices and things like that. So you can see here it's me. It looks through Git history as well, because this is something that is a good trick, because if it knows what has changed in this branch, it can maybe see if we missed anything. Because sometimes looking at what happened gives you more information than just the end. So this is like making sure we didn't miss any refactoring, or like we changed something but we missed something, and it will do that. Architects, strategists, like these are just generated. Whereas I just want someone that's really good at architecture, and it generated for me. Security, performance, data integrity. So like things I know that can go wrong, I just put in here. And if you, for your application, have like some specific thing like a Kubernetes specialist or whatever, like just add them here and say in the review, just make sure to say, hey, can you run these sub agents in parallel to review my code?
I mean, this is incredible. This whole episode here has been mind blowing. I mean, as if you also have a review agent, and as if like DHH works as a review agent in your code base. Kieran, this has been very, very informative. And I'm super excited for everybody to try this out for themselves. It's, share this with your teams. If you have developers, you have a CTO on your team. I'm sure that, a lot of people are using Cursor, they're using different tools, but I think what's really cool about Kieran, what you've shown here is that it's not about just using a tool. It's about changing the workflow. And then again, spending 80% of the time in planning, like you said. And so this has been awesome. Thank you for doing this.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like I hope what you take from this is like, this is not how it's supposed to be, how I show it. Like you need to figure out how it works for you, but really unlearn certain things and really try to be inspired by what I show. And if you want to go deeper, just like I post a lot of stuff on X about this. Also, I'm like learning daily, and I would love from everyone to hear also like what they learn, because that's really how we figure out how this works.
Of course, we're going to include all the links step by step in the newsletter. So sign up at thisnewway.com. And so for people who want to get in touch with you, find you on the internet, find Cora, where do they go?
Yeah, if you want to sign up, try out Cora. It's cora.computer. And I write some stuff about combining engineering it every .2 as well. And what I post on most is X videos, brain dumps. We do vibe checks on models. So if new models drop, like we get early access and just see what the hell it is, if it's good or not. So if you're into that stuff, please follow there as well.
Love it. Love it. Kieran, thank you so much for doing this, and hope you enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah, it's great. Thank you so much.
All right.
And that's it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of This New Way. If you like the content, be sure to rate, review, and subscribe so you can get notified when we post the next episode. See you next time.